I've been speaking all this time, so.
Hey, well, they know you, you know. So they already know who you are, Doug. My name is Moses Parker. I'm the program coordinator for Work First New Jersey programs. I'm also a leadership personal development specialist, and I am really excited to be a part of this. We've been working on this for a while. Douglas talked to me about this some time ago, the opportunity. This is my third presentation in 3 days. I was on with a group of leaders out of Michigan. And I'm just excited to be here for this opportunity, man. So I hope we're going to have a whole lot of fun in these next few moments and hopefully drop some nuggets.
Yeah, we're not going to be boring. I hope not.
I hope not. I hope not.
For some of you, you already know me, but I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I've been teaching for the last 18 years. And before I started working as an instructor and teacher and professor, I was never a planner. I fell onto jobs, so I never planned for a career. And it was back in 2002 when I met this wonderful person. Her name is Jamie Engel. She was the coordinator for the ESL program in North Carolina. And she said, we have an opportunity here for a tutor, you know, so you want to join us? And I said, okay, what do I do? So she's like, oh, I'm helping kids. So I started doing that. And then she said, why don't you become a teacher? And I said, why do I need to become a teacher? So she gave me all the prescription, you know, the medicine to become a teacher. And so I got my credentials. I started getting my credentials and then lesson planning. And if you don't know about lesson planning, if you haven't taught, let me tell you, you have to plan for every single day, and you have to plan for the week, and you have to plan for the month, and then for the year. So that's how my journey began as a planner, and that's why I believe in this method. So that's why we do what we do.
Would you like me to share the screen now?
Please, please, please.
No problem. Can everybody see it?
Yeah, we can see it, and we can put it in like slideshow.
Oh, okay. You want it
like doesn't this, matter, or? Really. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter.
Okay.
So this presentation was designed for Dress for Success and its SMART goals. Have you heard about this before? There's a lot of material out there. Yes, no? Anybody raise your hand? You can raise your hand. You can. Are they muted, Lorraine?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. Oh, okay, okay. I'm sorry. I apologize. All right. So, next slide. If you can go to the next one. Lorraine, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Do you see it?
Yeah. I can see it. Can you go to the next one, please? Next slide.
Lorraine, can you hear it?
Yeah, you can't see me?
No, he said next slide. Did it move?
Next slide.
I'm already like on the 7th page.
Oh no, that's number 2.
Yeah.
I can't see it.
I think, yeah, ours is frozen on this end, so we're only seeing.
Can you ladies see it or no, and not see it?
No, we're on the first page too.
Yeah.
Are you on the, what do you see now?
Dress for Success online workshops, SMART goals.
Yeah.
Goodness, what is going on here? Okay, hold on. Let me.
There you
All
go.
right.
Now it moved.
Let me just leave it like this then. Should I just leave it like?
All right, so go to number 2. All right, great. So that's us right there. And this is something I wrote a couple weeks ago. Right now, the world is in a very slow motion pattern, but very soon the time lapse will implode. I know that some of you may not see it that way, but it will happen. And it will spin it forward to an abrupt reality. Will you be ready for it? Next slide. So what does SMART mean? Well, it's an acronym, a specific mnemonic, other people call them mnemonic. Specific goals, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. And then you have examples what that means. Go ahead, Moses, for the next one.
And just to piggyback off of this particular slide, SMART goal model is used across the world with major organizations and Fortune 500 companies. Many times, either when companies are starting new initiatives, when they're looking to innovate or grow their companies. So SMART goals are pretty widely utilized throughout business organizations, through institutions. So you may see this in many boardrooms when they're having planning meetings. If we can go to slide number 3. And so what I like to talk about when I start with SMART goals is that the objective of this presentation is always to put us in position where we are forward projecting where we're trying to go, which we call vision. Sometimes in our lives right now, as we realize this COVID-19 is causing many of us to have to pivot and kind of transition our lives and see where we're going. People are losing their jobs, companies are closing down, businesses are closing. And so it gives us a really nice template of how we're going to pivot and how successful we can kind of project ourselves to be out there. And so I like to start off this presentation many times of talking about a goal or perhaps a vision. My background is that I'm a fire starter. What I mean by that is I always love talking to people who have goals or who have ideas, but may not know how to get them started, who may not have the courage or the know-how to kind of get those things started. So I have a lot of conversations throughout my life and throughout the past few months, especially with individuals who may be at this point in life where they may be in a career change. They may be in a life-changing situation. And so when we look at goals, every goal or vision, it should be specific. It should have specificity. And so your goal should be clear and specific. Otherwise, you won't be able to focus on your efforts or feel truly motivated to achieve. And so you look here, it says, what do I want to accomplish? Why is this goal important? Who's involved? Where is it located? Which resource or limits are involved? And so you can outline the specifics of a goal. You are putting yourself in a better position to achieve those particular goals because you have dismissed the ambiguity. Most things that are ambiguous, we never accomplish because there's no clarity, there's no clear vision. There was an old Hebrew writer said that where there is no vision, the people perish. And what that simply means is that they cast off restraint. They don't have any direction. And so having specific goals is extremely important in where we want to go and how we want to develop, whether it's a business, whether it's a place in our lives, whether it's a relationship. Sometimes we want to build relationships. So whatever it may be, specificity is going to be a critical part in achieving those particular goals.
So just to give you an example, right? And this is, it matters to me, and that's why the example is going to come forward. But you hear a lot of people say, I want to be healthy. What does that mean? Okay. What does that mean really? That's the problem. Now, if you say, I want to be healthy because I need to lose weight, what are you doing? So you write specific things that you're going to be doing to achieve that particular goal. So like, for example, one of the things that I do, I don't drink soda, I drink water instead of soda. I go to the gym 3 times a week. And I do it on Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays. I exercise, I have a schedule 45 minutes a day. I defined the time because if I don't do that, well, I'll go to a gym whenever. And you know, when you say that, it's not going to happen. So I go from 6 o'clock in the morning to 6:45. So that's specific. Next slide, sorry.
So we also want our goals to be measurable, right? So it's important to have measurable goals so that you can track your progress and stay motivated. You look at measurable goals are how much, how many, or how will I know when it is accomplished. So being able to measure our goals, it does one of 2 things for us. And number 1, again, it gives us an ability to see our progress. And the other thing is it motivates us. And what we have to do in life, I know I'm this way, is that I tend to focus on the bigger goal. And I don't really give myself a lot of credit for my shorter goals. And so what happens is that when you accomplish something in the smaller scheme of your overall goals, I think we have to celebrate those times. Sometimes, like for me, I have a business, and one of my biggest issues in life, I'm not like Douglas, I'm a procrastinator at times. And so once I get the ball rolling with something, I have to keep it going. And so when I first did my business, a small goal for me was to do my LLC. So when I did my LLC, that may have been my first step. But that was one of my goals, that I can measure my progress towards establishing my business, was actually doing my LLC, having my LLC paperwork with my tax ID. And so at that moment, I had to celebrate, and I had to acknowledge that particular goal. But it was in the bigger scheme of things, of me understanding that I had to do this or accomplish this particular goal in order to reach the greater goal. And so you want to make sure that you can measure your goals so that you stay motivated, and that you are able to measure where you're going, and that you're motivated to continue to move forward in those particular goals. And so those, being able to measure goals, are extremely critical. It's extremely important to build that data. Sometimes it's qualitative, sometimes it's quantitative. And so, but you want to be able to measure where your goals are, so that you're able to know how much, how many, and how will I know when it is accomplished. Doug, you want to throw an example in there?
Yeah, you know, and going back, and again, goals are personal, so they're yours. So a lot of people, like, you know, going back to the weight, and this is going to be the example that I'm going to give you. I want to lose weight. Okay, so how many pounds? All right, so now we have a beginning point, and we have to have an end point. I decided that I was going to lose 55 pounds for my wedding back in May. So how many pounds per month? So that was about 10 pounds, 8 pounds per month, which meant that it was 2-3 pounds per week. So you break all those tasks into smaller and realistic units. Because if you don't do that, when you think about 55, that's too much, that's a lot. But if you only think about 1 week at a time, only 2 pounds at a time, only 3 pounds at a time, it becomes manageable. It becomes manageable. Next slide.
Any questions so far? Any comments? Any rebuttals? Anybody want to say this is pure garbage? Anybody? No? So achievable. Make sure that your goals are realistic and they are attainable for success. And what this simply means is, how can I accomplish this goal, and how realistic is the goal? Now, when I talk about achievable goals, I usually put in this caveat, this disclaimer. When I talk about being able to achieve a goal, I'm not talking about confidence or self-efficacy. I'm not talking about issues where people don't feel, or if there's an achievable goal and the person really doesn't feel like they can achieve it because of other personal issues. And so when you talk about achievable goals, I don't want us to limit ourselves. They have to be, it can be a goal that we've never done before, but it is still within our reach. Now, this goal may stretch us. It may stretch us out of our comfort zone. It may stretch us into places where we've never been, but it does not mean that the goal is not achievable. And so sometimes achievable goals are those goals which we've never accomplished, and at some point in our lives, we may have thought about it, but felt that it was not achievable. All right. And so an achievable goal is, again, how realistic is this particular goal? How realistic is it based upon constraints such as financial factors? And so you want to make sure that whatever your goal is in life, that it is absolutely achievable. If I were to quit my job today to become an astronaut, I'm not sure how achievable that's going to be. Or the heavyweight champion of the world. I'm going to quit my job at this ripe old age that I am, and now I want to go into boxing and become the heavyweight champion of the world. It's just more than likely not an achievable goal. However, if I want to accomplish and obtain my PhD, that's absolutely achievable. And so I have to make sure that the goal that I have is achievable, that it's realistic, and it's within my realm. Achieving a PhD is completely within my realm. Being the heavyweight champion of the world probably isn't. Doug?
And you know, just a little bit. You should be aware of your limitations, and I don't mean that as a negative. Yeah. I will never be a pianist because I never learned how to play the piano. So you need to be aware of your limitations. And but whenever you want to achieve something that you truly want, and you do everything, you make every effort to get to that particular goal, you become resilient. And with resilience, many things can happen.
Yeah. And I also want to say this, a goal that you've never achieved, again, it doesn't mean that you are inadequate. And I have to stress this particular point, because whenever you are shooting for a goal, 99.9% of the time, you are going to experience some untreaded waters. You are going to go into some unfamiliar territory. And so I just want to put that there, that, and even sometimes a little insecurity does not mean that it cannot be achieved, right? A little insecurity can sometimes just say that, hey, I've never done it before, but I'm going to push through. And I think sometimes with that, I know with myself, there's been times when I've been a little insecure and I've allowed myself to sit back on projects. And so I've been working, even as we prepare things, and and the more I work with organizations and companies and faith-based organizations, the more confident I've become when pushing past those particular aspects. I just wanted to throw that part in there again, Doug.
No problem. Next slide.
All right. Then take the relevant, Doug, because you rock this one out, man.
Do I really? Okay, Moses.
Yeah, you rock this one out.
All right. Goals have to be relevant to you. Okay. Many times, people just have too many goals, but they don't know what direction to take. And sometimes we pursue the wrong goals. We put a lot of biscuits on a plate and we forget about the gravy, right? So for example, one of the things that, going back, and this is, and by the way, this has been my struggle since I turned 40, like just dealing with weight problems. But to understand, the problem is when you have too many goals, but to understand how something is relevant to you, you need to understand the impact of your goal in your personal life. For example, for me, it's to stay healthy, to avoid heart disease, to breathe normal. Because one of the biggest problems that I had about 2 years ago is that I was tying my shoes and I had problems breathing because I was about 60 pounds overweight. I wanted to fit into my clothes again. I want to be able to look good and save money because I have so many old suits and I couldn't wear them anymore. And also to have a feeling of self-satisfaction. You want to feel good about yourself. So when you make something relevant, it makes a difference in your life. For example, and relevant. Also, I'm a teacher, right? Am I gonna invent the cure for cancer? No, but maybe I want to inspire somebody to become a doctor, and maybe that person can find the cure for cancer. So they need to be relevant. One of the things, you need to know the time, you need to know the constraints. One of the things that my wife said to me the other day, that she wanted to learn how to play the guitar. And I said, well, right now there are not too many places open. Well, and I said, what difference is that going to make in your life? And she said, at least I know how to sing and, make you happy. I said, you already make me happy. So, but it's not really relevant to our lives. It's not going to impact our economic growth. Maybe she's going to be happy, but it's not pertinent to what we're doing right now, especially with the virus. Next one. Next slide. And this is one of the biggest things that people don't know what to do. Things that you need to have a deadline. You need to have a time when you're going to finish something. I put deadlines on everything that I do at work. For example, we do orientations on Monday. And by the time we get the students, for example, on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, we're supposed to have a resume within a month. I put 1 week as my time to finish the resume. I have portfolios, or I work with students who have portfolios within a month, which, they give it about a couple months. So if you don't know where you're going, if you don't know what your starting point is and how much time you have, you can navigate endlessly without achieving your goals. So you need to have a timetable. That's very important. You have to have a deadline and purpose. Is it reasonable? And one of the things that I believe, I'm a strong believer, you have to develop a daily schedule to achieve those goals. Without a schedule, it's very difficult to move anywhere. Moses, you want to add anything else?
Yeah, well, I mean, you hit all the points, man. I think, and again, with time, it gives us structure. Again, I struggle with structure. Doug is an expert at structure. We are, and I think this is why Doug and I work so well together, is because we're polar opposites. And so I struggle with structure. I've gotten a lot better with it because I've been able to start to put time structure on various projects. And so time actually gives you, because if we don't put time on it, then how do we measure if we are being successful, right? So time is a critical piece. Again, if I want my PhD, which I am going to go back and get my PhD, achieving my PhD, if my time limit or my time frame is, we're in 2020 and I'll say 2024, well, I have to put that time in, because now I have a structure, I have a target date, which will now guide my decision making. So the critical piece, even when we talked about relevance, really the entire goal or model, it gives us structure in how we develop our goals and our vision. And so that time piece adds that structure where now we know that it's, if it's specific, we can measure it. We know that it's achievable. We realize that it's relevant. So now what is my time? How long am I going to give myself to accomplish this particular goal? And I do a presentation over the last few years called Reinventing Yourself. And this is a critical part in reinventing yourself. And because when you reinvent yourself, it doesn't mean necessarily that you don't like who you are. Reinventing yourself could possibly mean that you've gotten to a place in your life and you realize that there's more to you than what you've been taking advantage of or tapping into. And so sometimes we have to reinvent ourselves. And in reinventing ourselves, we can include the SMART model, and again, putting those time restraints on what our goal may be. And so I think that's a really critical piece there with the time bound. Next. Doug, activities.
So yeah, there's an activity here. For the next 3-5 minutes or so, you want to write on a piece of paper something you want to achieve, and if you can add just a little bit twist to it, just add a timeline. Timeline. I'm sorry, and then we can talk about it. So
and it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be something major. It could be one of your small goals.
Small goals, yeah. It doesn't have to be
one of your small goals within the scheme of things.
And Lorraine, if you can share that, the one that I sent you, so the people who didn't get it could see it or see what I'm talking about.
Can everybody see it? Or can you see it on my screen or no?
No, I can't see it.
Oh my goodness. Let me stop sharing. I don't know what's going on with this. Let me stop sharing and then share.
No, I think he means the thing that you sent as an attachment.
The attachment. Yeah, the other
in the
one.
email.
Wait, wasn't it that one?
Well, that was a presentation.
The SMART planning form, right?
The SMART planning form. Yeah, was it there?
Yeah,
I didn't see it.
that's what I put up. I don't know. Something's going on with my side.
Oh, okay.
You see it now?
Yeah.
Yeah, something's going on, I think, with my side of the world, because I keep seeing, I'm on track on this side, but my computer is not cooperating.
Lorraine, you're hitting us with the Teddy Riley versus.
I don't know what's happening here. My computer is not cooperating.
So if you can write something there, and if you don't have the form, you can just a piece of paper would be good. And then you can send us a message. Let's see.
Wait, you want them to email this?
No, to send like a chat. I'm sorry.
On the chat.
Yeah,
to talk
on
about.
the chat.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
you can see how many people and what the goals are. And,
I don't even see my chat.
I'll see mine, but nobody. Okay.
So, yep, that's it.
Okay.
We don't want you guys to blow your tops off here. We just want to.
Yeah, I can see the smoke coming out of the
Yeah, I can see the smoke coming from your ears.
Thinking.
Okay, full-time teaching, great. How long do you think you're going to be able to achieve that?
Oh, I can see the chat.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay.
You want me to read the chats for you, or you got it?
I can see it. Yeah. So
Okay.
sorry. So one of them is Elizabeth wrote out she wants a full-time teaching, measurable. Well, she has interviews now. Kathleen, she will have at least 5 informational interviews, but with a nonprofit organization. Leaders in the Morris County area by July 31st. Okay, that's good. And Nitigna, I think, am I pronouncing that correctly? I want to obtain a digital marketing job by the end of 2020. Since the job market is unknown, currently getting digital marketing certificate where the program ends in a month. Okay, so achievable, I have my credentials. Okay. Cool. Okay, so now it's time to make the transition, Elizabeth. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody else, or are we? Right.
Oh, you got more.
So we have them in the chat. Is there anyone who wants to elaborate?
Yeah.
Anyone?
Looking for
wants to share?
Human rights and philanthropy by the end of the...
Doug and I have been talking quite a bit. Oh, I know there's someone who wants to share. We have a whole lot of professionals on this.
Of course, yeah.
On this conversation. Don't just let us do all the talking.
Don't be shy now. Now's not the time. All right, so just a quick question now. There are many models out there, tons of information. This is not something we came up with. This is something that we curated, okay? But did you find it that you can work with this? Is it a model that, you know, kind of fits your style? Yes, no, maybe. To me, it's been working for 18, 17 years now. So,
yeah.
You know, but people are different. So
yeah.
Let us know.
I actually introduced this to a faith-based organization a few years ago, and the leader over there actually implemented this in a couple of their initiatives. And there was, he utilized this particular model. And as he did it, he realized that there was one initiative that really wasn't the best for them. He also used another model called SWOT analysis. I'm sure that most of you have heard of that before. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. But he actually utilized it, and he found it to be helpful in some of his decision making as they were trying to implement new community programs. So, you know, this is pretty, like Doug said, this is nothing new. There's tons. If you put this in Google, you're going to see tons of work, tons of videos on these on this particular model. And like you said, we just kind of curated it for you guys today. But it's pretty common.
I was just gonna add that Kathleen just wrote something that
Okay.
it's really great. She put, it works because you can answer each question, which is something that we should all have in mind. If you do have a goal in mind and you can answer those questions, then maybe you should rethink that goal and figure out, okay, why isn't it measurable? or why isn't it achievable, you know, and then work on those things that you can achieve and that you can actually measure. I feel like that's why SMART goals it's a really good thing to use, because like Douglas and Moses mentioned, like we have so many things that we want to do sometimes. Like there's, at least me, like there's so much things going in my head throughout the whole day that at night I'm like, oh my God, I didn't even get one thing done. But even like if you start with, especially with a baby, so I feel like even if you have like little small goals, you know, you can make it to like the big one that you have little by little.
Yep.
So
I feel like that's why this is so great.
And that's the great. Go ahead, Doug. I'm sorry.
That's great. Thanks for sharing. And I saw that, yeah, Maria, you're right. You answer the question, so you break things down. But what if you don't achieve 100% of your goal, for example, right? And listen, I know, but you already have this life there. So that's why we talk about other things, but with the same information, because we're making it relevant to ourselves. But Jordan Peterson says that, okay, so maybe you hit 75% of your goal. Okay, so out of 50 pounds, what's 75% of that? Like 40 pounds or 30 pounds? You're still getting somewhere, right? Even if you're not getting 100%, because hey, we're lazy by nature. We tend to do things that are easy for us. Sit in front of the TV, just do whatever. And that's another workshop that we do. We procrastinate as much as we can. But whenever you have it written down, it becomes physical. It becomes yours. The only reason why I graduated college a couple of times is because I always saw it in my head. And when I see things written down, I know that I have to tackle them, because in your head, it's like putting "I love you forever" on sand by the beach. Once the wave comes, he will take it away.
Nicole just wrote a good comment as well. She said it works as a tool to organize and get a full scope of what I want, and it breaks it down into small chunks.
Yep. And here's another thing. When we have time bound here, or time restraints, or time structure, there are going to be times where you're not going to meet that particular that particular part of the goal. So if you have a 6-month goal, if you don't hit it in 6 months, it doesn't mean that the goal failed. And so we also have to understand that Doug does another presentation that's phenomenal. He created, was called Resiliency. And so I think what's really incredible is that even if we don't reach that particular goal, sometime or that time within the time frame, it doesn't end the actual goal or the process. We just have to be resilient, because life is going to happen no matter what. And I think we all see that here. We're noticing that there's some things that are completely out of our control that sometimes can throw us off track. But I find it that when people have a vision or a goal that's really solid, it is easier for them to get back on course and keep working towards those particular goals. So we don't make it within that time. It's okay sometimes, because life is going to happen.
Yeah, remember, you need to have structure, but you also need to be flexible, okay? Because, you know, who would have thought that we would be where we are right now with this pandemic 6 months ago? 6 months I was in Canada celebrating my, like my honeymoon with my wife. I didn't know we were going to be here. As a matter of fact, I took a shower and I got dressed for you guys, because I haven't done it in a while. Not true. She was looking at me. What are you doing today? I'm like, I'm presenting. So, no.
Well, I put a shirt on. I have a regular shirt on today. Just for today. Here I am.
In any event, if you want to go back to just a recap, and you don't have to go back. By the way, the slides will be shared with you at the end of the presentation. That it's yours. You do what you will with them. Just to recap, remember that the SMART, it's something that is specific, it's measurable, it's reasonable, achievable, it's relevant, and it's time bound. And it's not many steps really. You can break them down into small steps, but you have something that you can answer, something you can follow. And whenever you are thinking about a goal that you cannot make it concrete, this is a good model to follow. This is a good model to have.
I have a question.
Sure.
Just to ask, just really quickly. So if someone was, let's say, looking for a job, how would they use the SMART goal concept to, like, what would fall under each little thing for like someone that's seeking employment?
So what type, like, what type of job you're looking for? So that would be first of all. Yeah. So that would be the specific goal. I want to be a teacher.
Oh,
Right?
okay.
Okay. Measurable is the next one. Okay. So how long do you have? 6 months, 3 months? You're giving you time. How many interviews per week are you going? How many resumes you're going to send? Right? Is it achievable? Now, okay, if you don't have the credentials, it's not reasonable. Right? But if you have the credential, like somebody, I think is it Elizabeth that said that has a credential. All right, so she knows it, so it's achievable. Is it relevant? Of course, that's what she wants to do. And how long does she think that she's giving herself to get that job?
Okay.
Right. So yeah, those. I mean, that's why I did it with weight, because I know that everybody's interested in work, but I did it because that's relevant to me. You know what I mean? That's
so it'll be an easier way to keep on track, like if you are doing
right. And for just anything, even one of the problems that I have is with, like, I don't like doctors. So my wife is like, okay, specific goal, going to the doctor. Is it measurable? When? Next week? To achievable? Of course, we have money, so we can pay. We have insurance. No, and I'm not making it fun, but it's true. If you don't answer those questions, the model helps for a lot of things. Is it going to be for everything? Maybe not. But that's when creativity comes into play. Yeah. Anybody else? And you can ask questions. I mean, I think we have another 5 minutes, just about 4 minutes.
And also, if you're ever utilizing this model and you get to a point where is it achievable and it's not coming to you right away, it's okay.
Leave it blank, yep.
Also okay. Sometimes it may take a day or two because we have to kind of process other thoughts and our mind and kind of see where we are. And so sometimes we get to a point and we will be discouraged because we're not coming up with answers or the answers fast enough. So if you get to achievable and you can't really figure out whether it's achievable, yes or no yet, it's okay to step away for a moment. It's okay to take a moment to kind of think things through. And again, it's not the end. They'll talk about being creative, and trying to figure those things out.
And the last thing that I'll say, and then I'll be quiet, I promise you. If you don't, let me see, how can I put this one? If you have too many things, right? If you're trying to do too many things, start thinking about if those things really matter in your life. I'll give you an example. I was taking 5 classes online just because of the pandemic. I had to drop 2 because 2 things they were free. So I was like, okay, you know what? Everything that you do has an impact on your schedule.
Yeah.
And if that's something that is not productive, then you don't need it. That's not your priority. So when you do these things, you want to do them all the time, because if you do it only once, it's not going to work. It has to become automatic. It's in language acquisition, we say automaticity, which is something that you do repetitiously until it becomes yours. Just by doing one example, it's not going to help you. It's something that you do every day. I do it 5 days a week, and sometimes even 7 days a week. So to me, I can break it down into small tasks, every single one of those components. I want to thank you for your time.
Yep.
And your participation. We really, really appreciate it. And anything, Lorraine has our contact information.
Yep.
Maybe we'll do this again. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I would say that if anyone has an actual goal but don't know how to break it down and you need that assistance, and I'm just saying this because I know there's a lot of people that have the goal, but when it's time to break it down, they don't know how to put a timeline together. If you guys need that help, let me know, and I can probably connect you with Douglas or Moses so that they can help you target that goal.
Absolutely. I'm a 5-starter. Told you.
Without a doubt. And I'm an instructor. That's what I do. I like to share information. Because without sharing, life is not worth living.
Yeah. Does anyone else have anything else to say before we say goodbye?
Thank you.
Thanks for your time. Thanks for talking to us, teaching us something.
Yeah, it was great
Thank
having
you.
you guys. It was good to see you, Elizabeth. I haven't seen you in a while, so it was really good.
Nice seeing you. You
Definitely
look
have a good one.
Thank
you.
you. Well, bye, ladies. We'll stay in touch. I will email you the presentation deck. And then if anyone, I'll just no, I won't copy them. But if you guys need any help with your goals, just let me know so that I can connect you with them.
By the way,
great.
I can share my example with them too. The one that about weight, because that's all I talk about. But I mean, you can see it, and it's broken down into little components. So I can do that. I'll send it to you.
Okay, no problem. So
All right.
I'll share that as well with the deck.
Lorraine, thank you for your time too.
No problem. Thank
All
you
right.
guys. Thank you,
Thank you.
ladies. Have a
Bye-bye.
great day. Bye bye.